Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today, watching a big bad theory. This is our 22nd episode of the 9th season. Hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. If you like to watch today's full episode, it is available for a link in the description below. Just click in it, put the password in, and enjoy. So last episode kind of set it out that it was going to be the quarterly agreement, meeting for the roommates. You know what I mean? They sit down, they talk about everything and make decisions on how they're going to kind of live the life. You know what I mean? Basically, Leonard kind of put his foot down. He's like, I can't be bothered with this. Basically going to have this meeting to decide if we should get this brand of cereal or this one. One's got a bit more sugar on it, one doesn't. And I don't actually care because I don't even eat it. It's literally you, Sheldon. And he's like, well, you don't even take part, but you get to have a say. That's democracy for you. Then, obviously, Penny come along. She's ready to, pledge her allegiance as well to the roommate agreement. She's memorised everything she needs to say. Leonard's kind of kicked up a fuss, and now it's apparently not going to happen, and they're going back and forth and arguing. Raj as well, he's kind of boasting that he's sleeping with two women consistently. It's kind of getting on Howard's nerves. They kind of had a bickering argument. They're supposed to be having a big old watch-along, for Game of Thrones, because it must have been, peak seasons. And in there, they decided, you know what? Penny, Leonard go separate ways. Sheldon, Amy, they go separate ways, and so does Raj and Howard. They do as well. So we had Sheldon, Penny, and Raj in her apartment. We had obviously Amy, Howard, and Leonard in this one. Now they're all talking and saying the different things, and Howard's ended up eating one of these big massive sub that Leonard actually ordered, and it actually had peanuts in, which he didn't know, and it's hit him hard, mate. His face was all puffed up, his hands was all crazy. They had to take him to the hospital. He rushed in there. Turned out he's going to be okay, and obviously everybody's kind of happy with that. But like I said, we kind of glossed over the whole roommate quarterly meeting, and I don't know if we're going to get that again, but I was saying in the outro last episode that we kind of start episodes and I'm excited to see where we go, and then something crazy happens, like the arguments and this what is it now, reaction allergic to the peanuts, and we kind of forget the basis of how we started it. So I don't know if Penny did get to bleed it, and if she did get to obviously join the roommate agreement as well. But it did sound like, she's kind of not being manipulated, but worming her way in with a close friendship with Sheldon to kind of get things and clauses in there that side on her. So when Leonard tries to dismiss it and argue against it, it kind of works in Penny's favour. But I've got to say, that's Leonard's fault for not taking advantage, and obviously a big up to Penny for actually doing that. But that's where we currently are, episode 22 today. If you do enjoy it, please smash like, it really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, let's jump into today's episode.
Oh, hey, if you guys are free this weekend, I won a night of wine tasting from work.
How come scientists don't win free stuff like salespeople do?
Because we're not in it for the stuff. We're in it for the groupies.
To science for the intrinsic joy of discovery.
You always say that you want to win a Nobel Prize.
I also say don't contradict me in front of my friends, but that you don't remember.
Well, it sounds like a nice night. We should go.
Wine again? Yeah, no thank you. I like my grapes the old-fashioned way, in a juice box.
And I shouldn't have to see my boyfriend riding on a train for children around the mall.
The little choo-choo for toddlers.
And now you know why I needed the massage.
It's okay, you should go.
You sure?
Of course.
Yeah, give her a break from, well, come on.
Well, Bernadette, looks like Saturday night. It's you and me.
Me? How? Why?
Oh, come on. What, roller coasters, caffeine, runny eggs. I've been avoiding these things all my life. And now, because you're pregnant, you have to.
I guess we could give it a try.
Well, little lady, you've heard of party hardy. Get ready to party hardly.
Do you know what, right? Every time I see these recently anyway, the food looks kind of decent. I seen the subs last episode. I was like, oh, mate, I'd love to have a bite of that. And then looking at the here, what is... I know it might sound daft, but there's different types of lettuce and stuff. Like, what's that type of lettuce that they had on their sandwiches there? Because, when you put that in with the bit of tomato and then the meat, always makes it look like a proper sandwich. You know what I mean? I'm just bare basic. I just throw whatever's on there. But, it looked pretty good. And then he had a burger as well. But it's interesting to see these two, because have we ever actually had an episode where it's Sheldon and Bernadette together spending time? And I like the episode. Do you remember when Raj set up a quest for them all to do, and we kind of got combinations of people that we don't usually see? I mean, obviously we had we had Penny and Sheldon spend time together, but we did get Howard and Amy spending a lot of time together, and they found a mutual connection. Was it Neil Diamond that he was enjoying? Do you know what I mean? And then we obviously seen Bernadette. I think it was Leonard as well spending time. But it was mad to just look at it and see the the different couples that we don't usually see together. And to be honest, you know, I don't think I've ever seen these two singly solely together, so I'd be interested to see it.
Hey, you think it'd be okay if I brought Claire to the wine tasting?
Sure, I'd like to meet her.
Oh, that's great. I've been wanting her to meet you guys too, so this seems like the perfect opportunity. We know that we're not exclusive and we just don't ask too many questions.
You know, it's like how I play Warlords of Ka'a with you and Elder Sign with Frank and Alicia. I'm going to record this for posterity.
All right, here goes nothing.
Here goes nothing. This is the initial test of our prototype. Can we give it a little more gravitas?
Preliminary trial of the Infinite Persistence Gyroscopic Navigational System, Phase 1, commencing. Oh.
What's it supposed to do? I don't understand. I mean, it does look good. It looks like one of these spinning around.
Hey, Claire, wondering if you were free Saturday night? All my friends are going to a wine tasting.
I don't know. I just don't want things to get weird.
Nothing to worry about. People meet people all the time and it isn't weird.
Will you introduce me as your friend or as your girlfriend? What if I like them and they don't like me? What if they like me and I don't like them?
Boy, it wasn't this hard with Bon Jovi. I said, "You rock." He said, "Thanks, man." And that was that.
What are you doing?
Oh, I found a scratch and sniff book about wine tasting. It teaches the different flavor notes to look for.
Where is everybody?
Oh, we're the first ones here.
Oh. No, I don't remember the last time it was just you and me hanging out.
Oh, I do. It was 3 years ago.
Do it more often. and then here we are.
So Sheldon and Bernadette are hanging out.
I know. What are they gonna talk about?
Really don't know.
Hey,
Oh,
Oh, thank God.
Favor, and don't ask too many questions about the relationship. We're just keeping it casual.
Isn't that your old boyfriend, Zach?
Hey, Zach.
Are you gonna say hi to him?
Her old husband.
Hey, why do you decide who is better in bed? Big Hot Zach or Wheezy Little Leonard?
I'll just open this now so we can get nice and flat before we drink it. Our fetus-friendly festival of fun begins with an in-depth look at the world of model trains, and then we'll kick things up a notch and explore all the different ways that you can make toast.
But the thing is, though, right, have you ever been in a situation where, like, you're not really buzzing about the stuff that you're doing, but you see that somebody else is absolutely loving it, so then it kind of gets you by through that? Does that make sense? So, like, obviously Bernadette's like, mate, I cannot be bothered talking about toast, but, like, seeing how much Sheldon loves it, it kind of, to me anyway, as my personality, it kind of draws me in a little bit, because, like, when I see them liking it, then I start to like it a little bit, because I'll start engaging even if I don't really care, because I'll start asking questions and maybe showing some sort of emotion to kind of elevate them, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So, like, even if I was kind of bored, I'd ask just like a question about toast or something to see how happy Sheldon would get about it, and then did you know? And then he'd go on about another little tangent or something. I'd know that even though, like, it wasn't my vibe, like, at least, like, I'm elevating it and giving somebody else a good experience. Does that make sense? And do you know what's interesting as well? I'm pretty sure, I don't know if this is true or if I'm getting it completely wrong. I don't like wine, so but I think I watched a TikTok and somebody saying that, like, all wine, people think that, like, red wine is made out of, like, red grapes, and like white wine is made out of, I don't know, green or whatever's, and it's like, no, technically all of the wine in the world, all, like, they're all white, like, on the inside, they're all made from the same, it's the same colour. The only reason why it becomes red or something is because they'll leave the skin in with the colour until it kind of changes. You know what I mean? It's not the specific grape that it has the colour. All grapes are the same colour. It's the skin that you leave in that changes the wine to the colour of the thing. So that was kind of interesting, because I actually always thought, like, you know, the way they made it, it was a specific grape that had the colour, and it's not. Apparently all of them are the same colour, and then you leave it to kind of rest in the skin, and that's where the colour comes from.
I smell nothing.
Really? Nothing?
Just a whole lot of Afrin.
Did you two get married?
Yeah.
We did.
To each other?
Yes.
Cool. So how's the science world? What are you guys up to?
We've actually been working on a prototype for a navigation system we invented.
So what's your invention?
Well, we're using quantum vortices to replace gyroscopes in guidance systems.
What's neat is that they can maintain angular momentum indefinitely.
Angular momentum. I was wondering about that. Could it be used for missiles and war stuff?
Yeah, but we didn't create it for weapons.
And I doubt the military would be interested in our little guidance system.
Is it better than the one they use now?
Way
a
better.
lot.
You sure you guys are smart?
I was 5, I ingested a Z-gauge locomotive. I spent the next 3 days saying, I think I can pass it, I think I can pass it, I think I can pass it. When I was a child, life was confusing and chaotic for me, and trains represented order. Other than when they're chugging through your bowels, these things are magic.
Admit, I've been worried about the military applications since we started talking about this.
Me too.
Can't let this stop you. Almost any scientific advancement can be used for destructive purposes.
It's true. Even Einstein's theory of relativity was later applied to the development of nuclear weapons.
Yeah, good to hear. Guys, this is my friend Claire. We're casually dating, and there's no need for any further questions about it.
This is one that I like to call Star Wars toast because it has a light side and a dark side. Enjoy this. I designed it especially for you.
Okay, but just for a little bit.
Oh, I have a feeling that once you start, you're not going to want to or be allowed to stop. I think you're going to like a lot of things I have in store. For example, in this world, only the men get pregnant. You stand in front of a tavern that serves the coldest, most delicious ale in all the realm. What do you do?
Slam my sword down and say, Barkeep, bring me the strongest ale you have and serve it in the skull of a goblin.
So, Claire, we've heard so many wonderful things about you.
Like what?
Mostly Penny's heard them.
Some dirty looks over there when you ask for ice. You're hot. You see anybody?
We're just keeping casual.
Why is he being casual with you? You seem great.
Maybe we should take a step back.
Take a step back. I'm not a young man anymore. I got a baby on the way. I gotta make some money. Absolutely no, our invention will not be used to destroy the world. Jeez, how much wine did you drink?
Not a lot. I just couldn't start until you walked away.
The hell prawn lunges out of the hot spring. You block it with your shield. Do you attack?
Does it have eyes?
It has 3 giant red ones and they never blink. It's unsettling.
I stab it in the middle eye.
Good choice. Critical hit. Your sword goes through its eye into its tiny brain. With its final dying gasp, it says, "You have reduced me to a pile of sushi."
This night turned out to be so much more fun than I thought.
Whoa, the fun doesn't stop. You're still going home with a goodie bag full of toast.
Ever since people found out I'm having a baby, I feel like I became pregnant, Bernadette.
From the moment people realized I was a genius, I've been Sheldon the genius. Although I've never really wanted a break from that, so I suppose I don't understand.
The interesting thing about this program is I know that D&D's always been a massive thing, and obviously if you watch what is it now, Stranger Things, it's a big thing in there. But like I've never physically ever played it myself, and I never really understood the rules. But like from sitting here and watching this show and just kind of listening and how they actually play it, it seems quite interesting, and I could kind of get why people enjoy it so much. And I've read as well or seen that there's like D&D games that go on for years, you know what I mean? And there's no ending to it. And I always wondered like how's that possible, whatever. But it's all about chance, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If you look at this, it's about what decision you make, and it's just about a roll of the dice and what you land on. You know what I mean? So like technically you could have just say a 6-sided dice, even though they seem to have a lot more. And obviously, 5 of them, if you roll it, you die. But if you keep rolling it and it keeps landing on the one that doesn't kill you every time, your game's going to go on forever. Do you know what I mean? And it's just unpredictability. It's, you say something, I do this, you roll it, oh, swerve. You know what I mean? You do this, roll, oh, swerve. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting. And I guess my whole take from this is you actually will never, ever play the same game, ever. Which is good. And also it's so unpredictable, it keeps you engaged and excited. So I don't know, I wouldn't play it personally because it seems like it takes a lot of knowledge, do you know what I mean, and a bit of experience. But like watching it and people who do play it and how they can get into it, and especially how Howard was a dungeon master and how they could put a perspective on it of, I don't know, like telling the story, it does make it so interesting. And I could see why people are really, really into it.
I mean, come on, look at you. You're classically handsome. You've got a swimmer's body. Next to you, I look like me. Yeah, okay, just do me a favor and stop talking about how great Claire is.
Does Raj bring around other girls?
I'm not really around that much. Amy knows much more than I do.
I don't think you have anything to worry about. Raj is a terrific guy, loyal to a fault.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. She's not so great.
What are you guys talking about?
Like your friends were just telling me about all the other girls you're dating.
Why would you do that? I specifically asked you not to do that.
We didn't.
You just did.
Maybe none of you guys are smart.
It makes him look like a clever one in this episode.
Hey, did you ever think about the military applications for the guidance system?
Of course.
Does it bother you?
Did it first, but then I talked it through with Frank and Alicia, and
He's like, who's Frank and Alicia?
they really help put things into perspective.
Who are these people?
Like, do you know what's interesting is I'm just going to talk about Toast for a minute. Right, obviously, that was kind of like a little bit of the basis that he was doing with Bernadette, and I've mentioned this before, but like, first of all, like when you're making your toast, what grade do you like it? You know, if you're gonna say the light side that he was holding up and the dark side, you know, it's two different completely. You know, it's night and day. You know, one's just a little bit crispy and crunchy, the other side is like really dark and burnt. I prefer it the light side that he said, but like you can even have it lighter than that. Like, but I feel like that the light side that he was just having on was the perfect bit of crunch. And my other question is as well is, what is your favorite thing to put on toast? Now, obviously, it's butter, not margarine, butter. Like, but then my favorite thing is Marmite. Oh, absolutely love it. To me, it's a 10 out of 10 spread. Now, most people that I know in life hate it. Marmite, Vegemite, you know, same. It's so good. Their slogan is either you love it or hate it. Most people I know absolutely hate it, but I'm in the camp where it is amazing. I could have it all of the time. I absolutely love it. And that's my favourite thing to have on toast. I'd be interested to see what yours is. Is it jam? Is it peanut butter? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it that you actually love to have it on? But me, Marmite, it's top tier and I love it. Now, interestingly, you know, there was going on there about the relationships. Can't really blame Raj in that situation. You know, obviously he's kind of let the cat out of the bag himself that he's seen somebody else, Emily, even though he didn't say the name. But one, you can understand why he kind of slipped up just because of the situation that kind of baited him into saying it. But two, this Claire can't really be that mad because, you know, she's been talking about that they're not exclusive. And even on the phone call when he invited her to this wine tasting event, like she was saying that we're not together as well. You're going to introduce me as my girlfriend or, you know, like my friend or somebody that you're seeing. And, you know, Raj was talking about the situation. And, you know, if they're not exclusive, then they are open with an acknowledgement that they're open. And, you know, how can she be mad that he's spending time with somebody else, seeing how it goes, when they're not actually an item? You know what I mean? So that's my defense on the Brad side. And also, if I'm going to kind of flip it as well and try and help her out in a situation that, you know, she may be upsetting, the fact is, if he is seeing other people, he's invited you to this event with his friends. And that's got to be a positive, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? If you're not exclusive and he may be talking to two people, but like he's getting invited to events and he's only solely bringing you, do you know what I mean? That's a positive for you. It actually is. And, you know, I'm interested to see where it goes and if she gets hurt by this. She seems like a personality that she wouldn't be that actually, not that fussed, but, you know, not that too overly concerned. She knows who actually Emily is. You know what I mean? Now, the interesting thing is, I don't know if Emily knows who Claire is. You know, we even had that episode when he was driving in the car and he was on the phone to Emily, then Claire, then Emily, then Claire, and Claire knew that about Emily. Do you know what I mean? So it was a back and forth. And the only person that he is actually speaking to is the person Claire already knows about. So I'm not too sure it's that deep and that bad. However, if she wants to kind of be with him, she needs to kind of say, do you know what I mean? So I'm interested to see where it goes. But if I was her, I'd take a positive that it was me, Claire, that was getting invited to these friend events over Emily. Okay, so that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So the guys, man, they're stuck in some moral dilemma. You know, they've created this thing and, you know, it could be used for many good things, honestly. Really, really good. And obviously it could change science pretty much forever. Something that's got an infinite lifetime. That's basically what he was saying, isn't it? You know what I mean? It would never need to be recharged or die. It would be continuous. It's crazy, but basically he's saying it's tracking as well. It's basically a tracking thing. But on the flip side is anybody could take anything that's good and make it bad, can't they? You know what I mean? Like Harry Potter, for example. You know, you could be a wizard and you could chill and you could do things and you could create some mad stuff like Arthur. But then you could also become bad like Voldemort, you know what I mean? And use all the magic to try and be your advantage, you know what I mean? And you could do bad things with it and take over, create armies. And that's the thing that was kind of like highlighted here in today's episode from Zach. He was basically saying like, that's pretty cool, innit, mate? Like, you've done that and you can make a lot of money from it. But have you ever thought about, you know, people using it for wars and attacking people and tracking and warheads and stuff like that? And it's obviously got the guys thinking. But I don't know. I personally think that that's all a bunch of what ifs. It actually is. It's all a bunch of what ifs, and it's not your fault if you create something that somebody else uses to be bad for somebody else. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, if I create something and its own intentional use was for... So let's just say I created a gun, yeah? Its whole sole purpose was to just shoot at targets, and it could be, you know what I mean, used in a sporting environment. It's basically for the Olympics where people could use it and they could shoot targets and have fun. But then if somebody decided to take that and use the stuff that I put inside of it to create their own weapon of mass destruction, that's not my fault. You know what I mean? And that is how I kind of sit on the situation. I feel like people could take their technology and they could make it bad, but like that's not Howard and that's not Leonard's fault. Nothing to do with them. They didn't intend for it to be used in that way. And if somebody did do it that way, it is not their fault. You know, they can't have any secondhand blame or guilt. They done it for the goodness of science. You know what I mean? So I think that they should still rock and go forward with their plan and not dwell and not miss out on this potential amazing opportunity, if I'm being honest. But I'd be excited to see obviously what your guys' opinion is on that, because it is pretty deep and it can obviously affect many other people's different lives in that aspect. But I personally think that they're doing it from the interest of science, the goodness of the heart, and doing it to obviously change the world in a better place. And if somebody takes that and makes it a negative, that is not what they should be dwelling on, and it's not their fault either. So thanks for checking out today's episode though. If you did enjoy it, please smash a like, it really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers guys.